how's it going? It's me, Yoko. For those who don't know me, I'm a Japanese living in Japan who's a huge Trump supporter, and where's the freaking natural light? I missed it. But it's not that late though, it's only 5:42. And as I showed you before, it says high energy. I don't know if it's focused, but it says that because if you have low energy, Trump senpai will be mad at you. Before I get started, I wanted to apologize first that this upload is a little bit late, but that is because, I don't know, I'm not a native speaker of English apparently, and sometimes preparing a draft is easy, other times it's not. It takes a long time, and this is what happens, but my ideal schedule is actually uploading like twice or 3 times a week, so I don't know, at least I'm trying. And also, next week I'm going on a trip for work, thanks to you guys actually, so I'm guessing the video upload might be delayed or something like that again, but at least you know that I'm working for Japan-US relationship, you know, with the work, so that's good, I guess. So today I would like to talk about the news, which is that a white special needs man in Chicago got kidnapped, beaten, and tortured by black attackers who can be heard cursing white people and President-elect Trump. And it was also being live streamed on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure that you guys all know about it. So even though this is a little bit late compared to native speakers, I thought that I would give you guys my personal Japanese perspective, and also later in this video I will introduce similar cases here in Japan as well. So in Japan, certain type of news from the US get aired on TV, you know, such as the police shooting black people and so on, and you get the idea. But on this torturing that happened in Chicago, I haven't seen any coverage of that on TV, and I doubt that I will. All I see is of some foreign related media like CNN or Huffington Post and others, and it's all online, and I haven't seen that on TV. Even if there is, it's pretty small. Anyway, so when I got to know about what happened in Chicago, I was surprised and not surprised at the same time, because this is not the first time that Trump haters do stupid things, right? Like, this reminds me of a female Trump supporter getting pelted with eggs, or Trump supporters being chased by Trump protesters outside of Trump rallies, or even being shot by protesters. Trump supporters were shot in many places of the US, and I tried to track them all, but I couldn't because there are so many. And the weird thing is that those protesters say that they want democracy, and I'm like, yeah, right, you must mean violence and oppression by democracy. So dear American people, you guys don't have freedom like we think, do you? To be honest with you, I'm not surprised by the crime itself, because there will be always stupid people doing stupid things, but I am astonished by how the news is taken or handled in America, because it's America. So it's so crazy to think that when the rest of the world pictures America in our head, we instantly usually think of American dream, like equal opportunities or freedom and so on, but you can't even call a hate crime a hate crime. Like, hate crime is a hate crime. In America you need a different name for that, or you can't say it. Like, in America? Like, America, baby! It's so surprising to me, but I'm realizing that it's real. The problems are there. I feel like I keep getting surprised by you guys in a bad way. Like, I got surprised by the Merry Christmas arguments to actually, because of the feedback that you guys gave me. I made a video on that at the end of last year, and some of you got back to me and told me that people around you started to say Merry Christmas again. I was like, wow, that's really happening. I'll be honest, a part of me thought that Mr. Trump was exaggerating a little bit. That means that some American people had actually felt bad to say Merry Christmas. And I don't know the percentage of those people or anything, but this means that there are surely American people that feel bad to say Merry Christmas. I think it matters a lot, because some American people suppress themselves or try to change themselves, thinking that it's nice for others or nice for the society, but I can tell you that it's not nice for yourself. Like, that's not healthy at all. I know that because I used to do that here in Japan until I politically got awakened. It seems that my favorite YouTubers who happen to be not conservative at all went to the White House. Like, I don't know the situation well, but they didn't get to see President Obama like they expected, but they did get to see Joe Biden. But so I was daydreaming, right? And I was thinking, like, if I was American and I was invited to the White House and if I could meet President Obama, what would I say? And I would probably say things like, President Obama, I know that you're very nice to colored people like myself, and you're very nice to non-Christian people like Muslims. I know your efforts because I saw you visiting the mosque and so on. But I'm wondering, why are you cold to white people? Why are you cold to Christian people? Why do you not speak up for them too, like you do for colored people or non-Christian people? I thought that those white or Christian people are Americans too, and I can see them suffering as well. But why are you cold to them? That's what I want to ask. Like, yeah, like seriously, like looking from Japan, President Obama is so cold to white people and Christian people because he's got like white guilt, right? And it's so weird because he's standing on the, you know, all the things that people in the past have achieved, and he has guilt for that. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm Japanese and I see America as a Christian nation, and yes, it is a multiracial or multicultural nation as well, and it's good that other people's rights are respected as well, but you don't have to think bad about white people or Christian people to do that. It's odd to me, especially when the nation is acknowledged as a country where freedom exists. And also, I can't believe that President Obama is actually a parent, a father. Not only that, he's a president of the huge country US. And why do I say that? Well, I heard him speaking about the hate crime on Fox News, and it was so interesting. There was a moment when the reporter asked him what he thought of the torture and the live streaming, and instantly President Obama went like, oh, it's like he said it's many times, and he couldn't speak, but he surely wanted to cover up her question so that it couldn't be heard well. And on that, he was kind of mumbling and he was picking words carefully, and I'm like, what kind of leader is that? And watching that, I thought to myself, like, if I was a parent, I would speak very, very harshly for this type of crimes, especially when the criminals are young, like 18 in this one, because one, you need to teach the kids or young adults in your countries that it's bad to do things like this. Like, it's ridiculous, but you still have to teach many times, and you have to show them the consequences as well. And two, you need to protect your children, so you're supposed to show strongly that you're against this type of crimes, so that you can bring awareness to both your children and parents, or to your criminals in your nation. Aside from President Obama being a community organizer when he was younger, meaning a leftist activist, I don't know what kind of person President Obama was or is individually, but as a leader, I know that he surely sucks. He's definitely one of the worst for America, but he's one of the worst for Asia too. Like, look at what's happening in Asia. I'm not saying that the US is responsible for everything that happens in the world, but I'm saying that President Obama caused a lot of problems in the world. I think that the important thing that we need to realize right now is that, as you know, all the problems that you have in the United States, it is not because of Mr. Trump, it is because President Obama. And all the threats that started to show up over the past few years in the world, well, there are consequences from the past, but it is not because of Mr. Trump. It is mainly because of the lack of leadership by Barack Obama. As a matter of fact, Japanese conservatives were criticizing President Obama for his poor leadership long before Mr. Trump became the presidential candidate. So President Obama, the US media, all the liberals in other countries, the very people that are bashing Mr. Trump right now are the ones that are responsible for all the problems that we are facing in the world today, don't you think? Like, how irresponsible. Like, all they care about is their money and status. Screw those people. And they keep agitating wars like they always did in the past. And as a Japanese, I can't help but being very angry at those people considering what happened in the past to my country. Of course, our politicians back in the day didn't have as much power as we should have. So it's not like I'm criticizing the people in other countries only, but you know what I mean. Anyway, as for the hate crime in Chicago, isn't Chicago like the second hometown for President Obama? I remember huge riots there too though, but he seems so distant from his hometown, and I thought the politicians would care about their hometown. So his reaction is just, I just don't feel right. But so I was very surprised to see the comments of the police, so I will quote. Chicago police spokesman Anthony G. said Thursday morning that despite the terrible racist statements made during the assault, police believe the victim was targeted because he has special needs, not because of his race. I haven't looked if they changed their viewpoint, but I would correct it as that the victim was targeted not only because of his race, but also because he has special needs. I wouldn't deny the special needs part entirely, because like he was definitely targeted because he is an easy target. But for what? It's apparent by the words that the criminals kept yelling at the victim, which is F Trump, F white people, and that's definitely the point. Like they wanted to do it and live stream it so that they can feel good about themselves. And there are always people like that. I'm pretty sure that there are people like that in my country as well, but I would say to these criminals like, F your ignorance for being agitated by the media so easily. It's so stupid and I feel really terrible for the victim, but you know, these criminals probably think they're cool by the violence and all, but guess what? They are fooled by the media. And I don't think that they could ever realize that they're being a tool for, you know, the media, like for their money, and they're feeding the corrupt politicians this way, and that what they're doing is coming back to them in a bad way, and they don't realize that. And the media might link this to bash Mr. Trump, but this is not because of Mr. Trump. This is because of the media and their sponsors, who cut out little parts of what Mr. Trump says, put them together, create a totally different story which is out of the original context to brainwash people, because that's their propaganda to feed themselves. And not only the criminals, but also the liberal media in the US is definitely guilty for this. And of course they're gonna talk bad about Mr. Trump to hide their guilt. Another thing I was surprised was the comment by the White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest, and I will quote the article that I was reading. A reporter asked Earnest if the attack should be considered a hate crime.
I think it's too early to tell. I certainly don't want to predict where the investigation will lead, Earnest told the reporter. I wouldn't speculate at this point to what degree federal officials would get involved for considering those kind of crimes.
As all of you are probably thinking, I have to say that things would be so much different. Like they would judge in such a different way if the colors were the opposite, meaning white people torturing a black special needs person. And also I was looking through this article, and at the end I saw a part like this, and I'll quote, police said they have not been able to connect any of the suspects to the Black Lives Matter activist group. Now that's interesting, because usually liberals or media put a label and say that Trump supporters are KKK, or Trump supporters are racist, like this group, or crazy things like that. And so crazy, like where's the fairness? And part of me wants to end this video here, but I'm Japanese and I want to use any chance to talk about my country situation, so I will introduce a hate crime that happened in Japan. This might let you realize that it's not like your country is a fail. The problems that we have domestically in each of our nation is a worldwide movement created by socialists and communists, taking a long time. So similar things will always happen everywhere in the world, as our enemies are the same. So when there's a crime like the Chicago one in Japan, the media doesn't call it a hate crime either. A good example is the murder attempt case that happened in 2013. So this South Korean man, 31 years old at the time, he asked each Japanese person if they are pure Japanese. And he cut 2 Japanese people with a knife in the back or in the stomach, and the victims were a man and a woman, and they were probably in the 60s or something. But fortunately, it seems that they survived. The point is, they were attacked because they are Japanese, just like the white guy who was tortured because he's white. And the criminal confessed later that he wanted to kill Japanese people, as many as possible. And I can't find what happened later, like in the court, but to be fair, the criminal seems to have had mental problems. And just like the YouTube video of live streaming was deleted from YouTube on the Chicago case, on this Japanese case, a Wikipedia article on this got deleted, even though probably Wikipedia has some easy system, but I mean, like, weird things were happening on the case. So the hate crime here, the argument at the time was the media was not reporting it as a hate crime. It's the same, like they didn't use the phrase hate crime as far as I remember, while the criminal clearly wanted to kill Japanese people. It's been always like this though, because sometimes the nationalists here have a protest or something and the media cover it, right? And the media and leftists, they put a label on them and say that those protesters, like nationalists, are doing hate speech. And even though the leftists always talk bad about Japanese people and name call conservatives or nationalists, their speech doesn't get called as hate speech. Like, it's just not fair. And it's been actually the same since right after the World War II. That's when we Japanese lost the war and we were labeled as the bad guy for fighting the war. It was done by GHQ, like a lot of communist spies and liberals, you know, and we were labeled as a bad guy with a one-sided laws that they created after the war, like after everything was done. I believe it's called ex post facto law or something like that, and that's internationally illegal. I'm here to make a point, which is that it was a taboo for us to talk good about our country or even state historical facts, because it was first forbidden by the GHQ order called the press code to do that, and the system just continued, and a lot of politicians or even like self-defense force members lost their jobs for saying things as the proud Japanese, like recent years, you know, like it kept happening until recently. Another good example is, this is not like hate stuff, but there was even a terrorism explosion at Yasukuni Shrine, which is like Arlington Cemetery to us, and it was caused by this South Korean man 2 years ago, and he didn't live here. He flew here from South Korea to do that, like he's a total terrorist. The shrine is actually such a controversial place. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's one of our disputes that we have because of communists. And it's apparent that if anything happens there, it's terrorism. But the media didn't report it as terrorism at all. They kept calling it as an explosion attempt, even though it's not only an attempt, it actually did explode the restroom of the shrine. And I'm so glad that no one was injured, but if there was, the person could have died. So to summarize the Japanese situation, I will say that the citizens, we are very free. Like, we don't have problems like the Merry Christmas arguments, you know, we don't have that type of situation, but we still have to change the media here. But the good thing is that the atmosphere in Japan is changing thanks to the internet, and also thanks to the Abe administration, which is doing a great job. So I personally feel that things will get better and better. But again, the problems are there because of the flow of socialism happening both in Japan and in the United States. And for that, I need to study more to be able to explain well, but I believe that it's coming from Woodrow Wilson. Like, we have to go back way in time to figure out what's been going on and stuff. So in Japan we have Prime Minister Abe, in Taiwan they have President Tai, in the Philippines they have President Duterte, and in America there will be President Trump. And in the meantime there was Brexit and other movements, and I think that in these places people are starting to realize what works and what doesn't. Like, I really love uploading videos like this to talk to you guys, because it's really important to know that in in each country we have similar people like ourselves. There are always people that are fighting against our enemy, you know, and it's so interesting. You know, people think of the world as a bad place or some dirty, evil place or whatever, but I feel that this world is actually beautiful. We get to see only a tiny little bit part of what the media reports, but there are good-hearted people that are actually smart everywhere. So we just have to unite, you know? And I'm so happy to see that it's actually happening, and I thank a lot of it to American people actually. The alternative media in the United States, they are doing a fantastic job. They're way ahead and they are inspiring people like myself, and I can't thank enough for those people and those who are supporting like you guys. Anyways, that's all I think for this video, and I'm sorry that this video became very long, but if you watched until now, let's put the name Moomin in the comment section below. So I'm just an ordinary person in Japan, but if you want to see more of these videos, like this video and also share with your friends and subscribe, and if you could, please visit my Patreon page to see what's on my mind and what's in my life, so that you might feel like supporting me monthly. Supporting me will benefit in the way that Japan-US relation getting better, and also Asian relations getting better, because I have a lot of Asian friends that are doing political activities thanks to the networks that I have here. And also I'm hoping that I can change the atmosphere in the conservative field, because we get labeled as haters or racist or whatever. We are not. We are full of love. So I'm hoping that I can contribute. Want to contribute because I think that I'm a female, and that is a great point already. And that I come from Japan. I'm not white, I'm colored. And even though some people tell me that I'm pale, yeah, I'm pale, but I'm Japanese. Anyway, so your support will be very much appreciated. I will always work hard. And also there are people that are already supporting me, and I'd like to say thank you so much for helping me. Like, I was at the bottom and now I see a hope. Thanks to you guys, and I can't thank you enough. Like, thank you so much. Anyways, dinner is ready, so I have to go. So thank you again for watching, guys. You guys are the best. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye.